Is the camera? Yeah, this is the camera. Ben, I'm talking to you, and I'm looking at the camera.
You talking to me?
Mega Shed Diaries, 13th of December 25. How far have I got with Swampy since I last recorded? I'll show you. Mega Sheds. Completely stripped down frame, and forks are off. Forks are in pieces. I'll have to buy some ball bearings because despite my best efforts with magnets, at least 5 of the ball bearings are under a bench. Oh, there's one there. Swing arm's a bit of a mess. But I've decided that I'm going to put some crash bungs on here after copying a picture of somebody else's I saw in Spain. So I went down a rabbit hole of getting some bits. So the initial plan was turn down a nut, drill a hole in there, weld it in, maybe have one on the back, but I think this is probably the same thickness as that and it's hollow in the middle, and the right thing to do is to turn a bit of steel, a boss to go in there with it'll be an M12 tap through the middle. So I looked at what bits and pieces I've got with my lathe. Don't know what type of steel it was because, you know, can't really ask the previous owner because he's dead. And I tried turning this bit and it's black because I tried annealing it. It's hard as hell, couldn't get it hot enough. Anyway, gave up with that. I found another bit. This seems to be turning okay. So the plan is I'm going to cut some bits off this. I've already drilled a hole in. I'm going to tap it and then weld it using my TIG welder. And I'm not the greatest TIG welder. MIG welder is dead easy. It's like using a bloody hot glue gun. It's child's play. But I'll try and do a neater job with my TIG welder. So I'm going to have a practice with that and weld a bit on there. And the idea is I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, and that way I can put a bit of threaded rod right through give it some rigidity, and maybe even put a bit of steel tube around it, so that if it does go down on there, it's not going to put all of the force onto here. It'll take some of it through the center. Tell me what you think. Here's the crash bungs we found on eBay, and they're so cheap. I think I got like 8 for about 20 quid. Wasn't really worth machining and making them myself, but there's I'll show a picture of it from eBay, but I'm going to use those. But I have got some like nylon rod that I can use as well. I can put in the lathe, but wasn't seem worth it. Another thing that we're doing at this stage is welding a tab onto here before I get it powder coated and sandblasted and everything. So if I wanted to in the future and wanted to fit fairing onto the front, it gives us something to drill and attach to. Bit of a deburr and remove the paint. Job's a good one. Here's the plan. Chamfered that edge down a little bit to get a better weld. That will go in there, welded in after I've had some practice. And these bungs, I didn't realise they're actually M10, not M12. So they come with these collars. So I've just stuck that in the lathe and bored it out at 12mm. That's just a bit of threaded rod. I'm planning on using threaded rod with nuts on the end, but could use this M12 bolt. So that'll go through there and screw into that. Job's good, but I think it'll be stronger, as I said, with threaded rod going right through to the other side, engaging with both of these bosses that I've made. All set to do some welding practice. Ran out of gas. I've called the guy that I get the gas from. He's not in till Tuesday, so I'm just going to have to wait until next week now. Down tools. Other jobs I've got done, I did take the tyres off the wheels, so they are minging, but I'm getting on. Make a shit out.
mega sheds.
So a bit of a practice. Not welded in, TIG welded in about 8 months, so I thought I'd have a go, and I'm pretty novice anyway. Used to doing straight lines, so that was my first attempt. Almost melted through it, and then I did this one. Apart from where I put it too close to the edge on focus. Oh, wasn't too bad, I suppose. So that was the practice, and then that's what I welded on the frame. Still not the prettiest, but it ain't coming off. So I'm going to weld one on the other side now and get them lined up with the threaded rod through it. It occurred to me that if I want to put a threaded rod right through, I need to have the boss on this side and the boss on that side in the right orientation on the thread so that the bolt will go through. So I've just, before I tack it on here, I've just got it lined up with this, with a threaded rod through both of the bosses that I've made. I'm just going to make a start on that, get it tacked on, and then I'll take the rod out. So there it is, tacked on a couple of places. I'm going to actually leave this in because I found it's quite useful to rest my hand on to hold the filler rod with. So there we are, done, welded. It's not going to come off. Not the neatest weld I've ever done, but no one's going to see it. Oh well, depends how many people watch this video, I suppose. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, and tomorrow night I'll get the MIG welder out and I'll cut a bit of metal and weld it on a tab on the front for a fairing. That'll do for now. Mega shed out. Actually, thinking about it, I'm going to have a look at the photograph of the one that I'm copying. I think they might have brazed theirs on rather than welding, and that's why theirs doesn't have like melted edges like mine is, because it wasn't brazing. You don't actually melt the steel, it's like soldering, you just put brass in between the two pieces of steel. Just going to weld this bit of 4mm steel on here in case I want to fit a fairing sometime in the future. I'll be able to drill holes in that and attach a mount to it. Okay, we're ready for sandblasting and powder coating now. Welded that on. Looks like it's been welded by a chimp, but it's not going anywhere.